Hey everybody, welcome into the Beehive. I'm your host, the Bee at LLC, and this is where we stack precious metals like it's pollen and nectar. Today we got a video I want to premiere and show you guys on Osmium. Ian, I hope, will be joining me here shortly. I have not heard from him. I just sent him an email, so hopefully he will join us here soon. Hello, Homestead Aquarius. Good to see you. How goes it with you? I may have to make a phone call right quick just to see. Let's see, how do I do this? Okay, hold on just 1 second, Homestead. I'm gonna turn this camera off, but I'm still gonna be here. I'm gonna call Ian right quick to make sure he's aware that we're supposed to be live. Hey, my journey. Oh, here he is right here. Never mind. We're still good to go. Good to go. Sweet. Hey, Ian. I was just about to call you. I didn't know if you remembered we were going on again today or not.
Yeah, just had a client come in.
No worries. Hey, my silver journey. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, so we just wanted to jump on here and show a couple videos from the Osmium Institute. Ian sent me over a video the other day, and I thought it was pretty impressive. A new one that they put out. But I'm gonna start, Ian, probably just with one of their little videos, just kind of as a commercial. I thought I'd play it as well, and then I'll come back. We can talk a bit, and then we'll premiere the latest one here, if that's all right with you.
That's fine. Long lived.
Me.
Hello, Homestead.
Uh-oh. Hold on. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, that's not the one we want. We're sharing our stream. That was kind of interesting. Try that again. There we go. Okay, did that bring up the Osmium Institute for you, Ian? You seen anything over there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna just play. All right, kind of a little infomercial on it. Some pretty jewelry there. So that was also showing Scarlett Klaus, and she seems to be in a lot of the talks on their videos. She must be been with them for quite a while now. Do you know much about her background? Or
Yeah, she joined with Ingo Wolf. I think 10 years ago at the beginning of the Osmium Institute's journey. So
Okay.
yeah, she's travels the world, going to prestige jewelry fairs, just talking to people. I met her at the New Orleans Investment Conference. That's the first time I'd even heard of osmium, let alone seen it in a crystalline form.
Okay, and you said what year was that? Like 2020 or
2021. Yeah.
Okay, 2021. Cool. All right. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play this English version of the latest video from him here. And if you wanna say something along the way, just start talking and I'll pause it over on my side.
Okay. Hello, my silver journey.
I gotta get my screen shared here first. Okay.
It sparkles and it glitters. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. This slogan is familiar, but it could soon be changed because what glitters here is osmium. Like gold, silver, or platinum, osmium is a precious metal and is increasingly used in jewelry making. Scarlett Klaus, the vice director of the German Osmium Institute, sees the following reasons for this.
Crystalline osmium is gaining popularity in the jewelry market, particularly among younger and more forward-thinking individuals. It is seen as the innovative addition that the jewelry industry looked for in recent years but just didn't get. Now there's the rarest non-radioactive element in the world. That it's a beautiful precious metal that can't be counterfeited is being very, very well received.
In 2014, osmium was the last of the 8 precious metals to be introduced on the world market for trading. Since then, it has risen sharply in price. It was initially only available as an investment metal, but currently more and more jewelers are adding osmium jewelry to their collections.
There are 2 clear instances where osmium can perform very well. In diamond jewelry, there is something called a pavé. A pavé is composed of many fractions of a carat, many small diamonds, and it is a very expensive surface that sparkles as a whole. But the value is not in the material, but in the work required to complete the setting of all these little pieces. When you take the materials themselves out, they are worth almost nothing. With crystalline osmium, you can create a very similar surface that sparkles as much or even more than diamonds. But in this case, the value is intrinsic. It's the high value of the precious material itself, which is undeniably appealing. Especially nowadays when people say, okay, I'd like to combine my jewelry with a tangible asset, the idea resonates strongly.
Yeah, I'm going to interrupt here. Long lived.
Yep.
Yeah. So when I first met them, they asked me to not compare it to diamonds. They didn't want that to be a marketing approach. But what has happened as people once you see a piece and you see a piece in jewelry, people cannot but compare it to diamonds. How it is different, how it's easier to work with, how you can make amazing designs. And interestingly, someone asked me, do you think it could replace diamonds? And I was just about to say, yeah, of course it will. It can replace diamonds. It's superior in almost every way as a product to use in manufacturing jewelry. But then I paused and I thought, well, actually, there is no way it can replace diamonds because there literally is not enough of it. The Osmium Institute estimate, their best estimate is they will be able to produce about 1 cubic meter, which is just over a cubic yard, which would fit under a modest sized office desk. That's pretty well all the crystallized osmium that will be available.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. And like she was saying about that parve or whatever you call it setting in jewelry,
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, I mean, I can see this for that type of a setting. I mean, it's even more reflective than diamonds, so you're going to get more of a pop from it.
Yeah.
And without all of that work, and plus you have that intrinsic value, like she says. So I mean, man, I can see that taking over that area for sure in high-end jewelry. And like you say, it's probably, I mean, it's already surpassed industry, and I mean, it's so highly valued that, you know, it's probably going to go into the high-end jewelry market and take off on that side, don't you think?
Definitely. I mean, as in its raw metallic form, it would have many, many uses, but there's just not enough of it. So no one's going to invent a use for it.
Right.
If you alloy it with other metals, it makes them incredibly hard wearing. You know, because it's the densest metal, it would make exceptional radiation shielding. But
hey, speaking of that radiation shielding, Niels Han Dynasty was talking about new nuclear that had some type of needed basically that, and we were thinking of osmium. So like you say, I mean, it's so highly valued that for most industry it's not even within the realm, but maybe on some you know, some highly expensive new things, you know, they still might find a use for it possibly, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the highest military or space, I'm sure they will still keep using it for some applications, but literally it can only be in literally tiny amounts, just a few grams or a few kilos.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some amazing attributes to it that I'm sure will be the most reflective, the most scratch resistant, the most inert. I mean, wow, that's impressive. So yeah, some of those high end industries like that still may even end up needing some. So, but yeah, let alone investment in jewelry, and on the investment side, with the coating within it, the coating built into it, I just see that as like Homestead Aquarium saying here, osmium seems to be like the Bitcoin of metals. And I mean, yeah, the more I think about it, it's the truth. In fact, when I first met you in our first video, I did a little clip on someone had compared it to Bitcoin in a magazine article there. And I mean, you were saying last night that people are already using it in trade of goods for
well for European families are trading, they buy discs like this one,
man. Yeah, and that's a crazy, like, what is that, 75,000 or something for that?
Yeah, that's about $76,000 in about a 3.5 inch disc.
Wow.
So you can have a stack of those.
Talk about value per density.
Yeah. And sort of getting back to what Homestead Aquarius said about being the Bitcoin of metals, the easily recognizable fingerprint. I think you called it constellation the other day. So every little sparkle on there having more than 10,000 recognition points for the fingerprint. It's not just an uncrackable code. It's really hard to describe all those characteristics, but yes, it definitely could well have an interest with people in the crypto world, that you just cannot counterfeit it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving it, because I mean, you have the physical aspect that you hold in your hand as a precious metal, and you also have the security of it tacked to a database. And so you're the only person with the right to sell and resell it. So yeah, I'm just fascinated by it for sure. Should we continue on just a little bit here?
Yeah, sure. I'm just seeing another comment here by Homestead. It's been predicted in America that when this gets picked up in the jewelry market and becomes a demand metal, there will be a rapid increase in the price, because even with added to the very finite supply of the raw osmium, I mean, the best estimates are 1/2 of 1 ton is mined per year. Then you add to the fact that 1 cubic meter, which equals roughly 23 tons, will be the total amount available. It is going to take very little demand in jewelry applications, and then that osmium is locked up. And as soon as we'll reach a tipping point, when that happens, that if you want, I mean, there's small pieces like this. I don't know.
Yeah, here, let me. Yeah. Hold on one second here. Let me bring you up front here. I think there you go.
A small piece like this cross is really affordable at the moment. But if it went to 10 times, millionaires would still buy one, because being they seek out rare things that no one else can have. So we will have, in my opinion, a rapid move, whether it's 2 years or 5 years. Not sure. It just really depends how the jewelry world, particularly in the US, picks up. It's already proving very popular in South Korea and in the Saudi states, and even in China.
Yeah,
and people are starting to buy it.
And it's just started up in several nations, right? Like, it just got kicked out. You're the first flagship dealer here in the US, right?
We're the first retailer in the US, yes.
Okay, and then what other nations have also just had this brought to their attention?
I think we're up to 42 nations now, but it's actively being sold in. 1,500 representatives making part or all of their living from selling osmium worldwide now.
Okay, and a lot of those were just like I heard that they just introduced it in China, right, or rolled it out in China. Am I right?
China, South Korea, Dubai. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, and that's all within last few years here. I mean, this product in itself is only, what, 10 years old or something, or?
It's 10 years since the Osmium Institute started bringing it to market. Yes. Yeah.
And so, yeah, and it's just now rolling out to the States and China and what did you say, Saudi Arabia and
Dubai, South Korea.
Okay, so yeah, I see some. I mean, obviously, if it's just hitting the market, yeah, it could get exciting here. All right, should we go on a little bit?
Yes, please.
All right.
Smiths also value osmium for its ability to produce nearly flawless surfaces, providing them with complete creative freedom in shaping their designs.
And this is something which you can't do with a pavé. For instance, consider a sharply pointed logo that narrows towards the end. With traditional stones, there will always be one stone or diamond at the tip, preventing the creation of precise, acute angles. In contrast, we can achieve this level of precision with osmium cutting, enabling us to craft the finest logos, shapes, and the corresponding surfaces that stones can't replicate.
The new headquarters of the Osmium Institute is being built in the Bavarian town of Murnau am Staffelsee, about 70 kilometers south of Munich. Ingo Wolf is the scientific director of now 40 branches of the Osmium Institute on 5 different continents. He is in charge of laboratory analysis and supervises the Osmium World Database. Every single osmium product is registered on this platform.
And now, that's Ingo Wolf, and is he the guy? Did you say he had other businesses going, and then when he got found out about the information on this, he kind of rolled out and opened this up, or how did that?
Yeah, so the Swiss scientists who worked out how to get this even crystallization process, it took over 40 years to perfect it. He was talking to precious metals dealers, trying to get the bullion industry in Europe interested in it. So he was at a precious metal fair where one of Ingo's businesses at the time was selling precious metals. And Ingo agreed to give him a 20-minute interview, just to see what he was talking about. The meeting lasted 6 hours, and Ingo said, "I will sell all of my businesses, and we'll form an institute, and we'll bring this to market." So literally in that meeting, Ingo realized, with all of the factors, its absolute scarcity, being impossible to forge, being cadences, being incredibly beautiful, incredibly versatile, he saw a once in a millennia, once in a 1,000-year opportunity, not just a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Right.
And this is why he's spent 18 hours a day since, for the last 10 years, bringing Osmium to the point we're at now, where it's going to be displayed across America. I just saw a comment there from Homestead that Osmium needs to be, My Silver Journey. I sort of agree you need to compare it to diamonds, but what happens is when you show it to a jeweler or a goldsmith, they realize that it has the potential. It has potential to do things that diamonds can't. I mean, for example, I think I still have your shooting star. It hasn't got off to the goldsmith yet.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Let's do that. Yeah.
Let me show people.
It's only in my dreams right now. Here, let me bring you up here. Hold on. Okay.
So if you look at the sparkle on that, and you look how it comes to a sharp point, you just cannot effectively. You could possibly get close to in diamonds,
With
but
a
you have
tiny.
to set maybe 300, 400, 500 different stones to get that. This is one piece of pure osmium metal.
And this particular piece happens to be double-sided.
Yeah, you bought the best one. It sparkles on both sides. Yours does.
Both
Yeah.
sides. So I'm going to make that, or Ian is going to get with his jeweler and have that made into hopefully a double-sided pendant here. We're still working out the details, but yeah, excited about that. Okay, sorry to interrupt. I'll get back to it here.
This database must always be perfect. And that is what the Osmium Institute stand for.
Oh.
If Osmium were to be lost, for example...
Hold on. My bad. I got to bring you off the screen here. Sorry, guys.
World database. Every single Osmium product is registered on this platform.
And this database must always be perfect. And that is what the Osmium Institute stand for. If Osmium were to be lost, for example, or stolen, or reappear on the market, or if a certificate was issued incorrectly, then we, the Institute, would be at fault and would have to pay for it with our assets. That's why we work very meticulously.
The extraction of osmium requires extremely precise work and begins in platinum mines located in regions such as Australia, South Africa, or the Urals. Initially, any non-platinum impurities, osmium being one of them, are dissolved from the ore. Crude osmium is then transported to Switzerland in the form of a gray powder. A meticulous process of crystallization is then carried out, a notably hazardous process.
Osmium crystallization was developed over 40 years ago, and only one company has managed it. The process is dangerous in a laboratory setting due to the toxicity of the substances contained within the closed circuit. It involves high pressures and temperatures that must be meticulously controlled. This means that within the laboratory environment, there's not only a need to protect against theft of precious metals, but also to manage a highly hazardous procedure.
Once osmium is readily available in its standardized crystalline form, the refined metal is shipped to Germany. There it is cut by wire erosion into bars and inlays, and then scanned and certified by Wolf and his team in Murnau. Investors in kind now have the opportunity to purchase the finished crystalline osmium.
There are some...
So, yeah, Homestead asked what substrate or osmium crystal.
Yeah, sure. People off. So if you look at the back of this 3.5-inch disc, it's still pure osmium. The whole thing is pure osmium. You can see there's some crystallization forming there. So just like a pizza, you put the dough in the oven. So this is pure. This is 99.9995. So 9.5 pure minimum.
One solid piece of pure.
One solid piece of pure osmium. Yeah. Purer than any ordinary precious metal. I mean, I think you can get 5.9 gold bullion coins, but this is 5.9.5 minimum. So no substrate. It can be crystallized onto a pure carbon substrate, so you can make 3-dimensional coated objects. They have dabbled with that, but I think somebody in South Korea had a cat done, a carbon.
Okay.
But that's not really what they're concentrating on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's Space Miner, welcome in. Yeah, it's actually the most scratch resistant material that there is.
It's more abrasive than diamond. It's nearly as hard. It sort of crosses over. Some diamonds aren't as hard. No, Space Miner. I mean, I could do my fingernails on that, except it's not my piece, and that would be a $76,000 nail file. No, it does not flake, crumble.
Yep.
You could bend it, and you could bend it back. At some point, you will possibly start to break some of the crystals off, but no, it does not flake. In fact, interesting, it is the most inert anything. There is nothing more stable. There's no acid or alkali or mix of acid and alkali that will touch it.
Yes. It's like you said, it's going to be like the last thing standing.
The last thing left. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that would break it down if you heated it to over 400 centigrade, you would start to deteriorate it. So literally, only extreme heat would start to break it down.
Do you know what that is? I don't know Celsius or what's that in Fahrenheit? Do you know?
It's hot.
It's a higher melting point than like silver or gold.
Yeah. And its boiling point is nearly 9,000 Fahrenheit to get it to a vapor, and that's what I have to do in the crystallization process. Once they've purified it to an incredible purity level of up to between 9.9 and 11.9 fine purity before they undertake the crystallization process.
Okay, wow. All right, should we go on a little more?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
There are some standard shapes, such as discs and bars at no extra charge. Then cut shapes, such as small diamonds and stars.
The price is therefore determined by quantity and size. In both the jewelry and investment markets, it begins with modest investments, sometimes as low as 100 euros.
Oh, I can interrupt there, if you don't mind.
Yep.
It actually starts as low as $20. You can get a glass file with a 2mm square piece. I don't know if you can see that in there.
Okay, a little star in there. Yeah,
that's a star. Yeah, but you can get these with a 2mm square piece, which still has many reflective points on it for $20 at the moment.
Wow, cool. Yeah, still low points at the moment on those small pieces, but
yeah,
get in while you can, type of thing, probably. Yeah.
The price of a traditional engagement ring adorned with crystalline osmium, for example, typically starts at around 1,000 euros.
And then there are what I would almost call lighthouse projects, like the Osmium violin, for example. It comes with an asking price of 3.5 million euros and features over 500 unique osmium elements handcrafted in Austria. Likewise, the world's most precious headphones have also integrated osmium. Now there's also someone looking to put osmium on motorcycle helmets for the first time. There are no limits to the luxury thoughts and accordingly, of course, to the prices.
First of all, osmium is incredibly rare. And I mean really incredibly rare. 1,500 times rarer than gold. You have about 17 to 55 cubic meters of osmium in the Earth's crust.
Let's consider that long-lived. 1,500 times rarer than gold.
Wow.
So that potentially is, I think its price point, 1,500 times more valuable than gold. It could even exceed that because of its just extreme beauty.
And rarity, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
1,500 times rarer than gold. You have about 17 to 55 cubic meters of osmium in the Earth's crust, and yet only about 1 cubic meter of that is expected to be extractable. You don't have more than 22 tons of osmium available at all. That means we are dealing with a very, very narrow market here.
Every year, leading osmium experts meet at the IPMI and at the Osmium Symposia, organized by the Osmium World Council to calculate when the raw material crude osmium will run out.
So yeah, I just want to quickly point out that that's something that I want to point out for us. I mean, it's just now hitting the US.
Yeah.
So talk about a narrow market or getting in, kind of in what I would consider, early on. I mean, wouldn't you say we're really early on in this market, obviously, or?
Definitely, yes. It's still a relatively small company. It can only grow to a certain size because then the product will have been, all the available raw osmium would have been crystallized and sold. So yes, we are early on, but I think this is going to be rapid. What happens is it's a very binary response. I think you found that when you saw it, you probably weren't really interested, and then you see it, and then suddenly it all falls into place. Its beauty, its scarcity, being the most dense, and also its crossover, the similarities, but in my mind, superior function it could have in transferring wealth, storing wealth, and 100% trusted transactions, not needing any electronic backup, because
Right.
not only have you got the database at the Osmium Institute proving the ownership with the high resolution scans, you can also prove your ownership literally by taking a picture of your piece. You can identify it against a high resolution scan. So it crosses many worlds. For me, I'm a fundamental precious metal stacker, and that's what I love. One of the things I love most about it, being the 8th and final precious metal.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting that the first time you saw it, you weren't expecting to expecting it, but you couldn't leave without getting some.
I was ready to dismiss it and rubbish it. They told me many of the points we've been discussing. They had some pieces in a display case that apparently had come in on a customs ticket for the conference, and it had to leave. I literally refused to leave without buying any, so I literally bought the ring off Scarlett, who we saw earlier in the earlier video, and we'd just seen in this video. And then I went back to my booth where I was selling silver and gold, and pulled out my cash box and went back and bought the pendant necklace she was wearing. It was that, do you know what? I need to buy some of this now.
Yeah, and then that's funny because when I went to see Ian, I had some money set aside to pick up silver, but I had to set a big piece of that aside once I seen osmium, and I'd actually heard about it, but when I seen it in person, I was the same way. I had to have a piece. So I don't know. That's two people who've seen it the first time couldn't leave without it.
Yeah, and as Neil Hahn is just saying here about its main source is a byproduct from platinum mining. To get some sort of grasp of its rarity, to get approximately a troy ounce, you have to move 10,000 tons of platinum ore.
Yeah,
this is why most osmium will never be mined, because if you're not managing to get the platinum to make the mine viable, it would cost you $1.5 million to mine 1 ounce of osmium.
Right. Craziness. Yeah, Shiny Shinyman, welcome in. So he's asking, oops, I pressed the wrong button there. Is the Osmium company publicly traded, and what is the trade symbol?
It's a private company at the moment. I think I can, don't tell too many people, but there is talk of an IPO. I'm just finding out about that in the last few days. So at the moment, it's completely private.
Right, but let me show you Shiny Shiny. Let me pull up they do have, you can follow the price online. They do have this Osmium Institute website where you can track the price and whatnot. well, I'll come back to that later. But yeah, Shiny Shineman, if you go to Osmium Institute, where do you find the price graph on that?
On Osmium hyphen price,
Price, that's what it is.
PREIS.
Yep. Osmium hyphen price. You'll pull up, it'll show you a graph that is being traded by what is it, family wealth practices over there, or
so the price is based on the harvest rate, because the process is incredibly dangerous and complex. So sometimes they have a failure, and so there's a balance of the harvest rate and what physical stocks the institute have. So yeah, on average for the last 7 years, it's gained 15% in value. So we've gone from around $570 in January 2017 to around $1,450 today.
yeah, okay. And
But it cheers me up when silver's down. Almost always my Osmium is up a little bit more.
right. Yeah, and when we finish this video here, we'll talk a little bit more about purchasing it, Shiny Shineman. But where's the best place to buy Osmium is right here in Ian. So
that's the best place.
Ian is the first dealer here in North America for Osmium.
Yep.
So you're here at the beginning, and
Yep.
this is something that is fresh. In fact, crystalline osmium has only just been introduced to the market for the first time 10 years ago, and it's just hitting several other nations just here within the last year or two, so including the USA. So yeah, you're in early, and it's a fascinating thing.
To answer to add some more information for Shinyman. We give a bit of a discount on the retail price, and we sort out all of the shipping, the international wiring, and the insurance from Germany to us. And we also include the shipping out to anywhere in the lower 48 states.
Yep. So we're premiering this video. We're about halfway through. I'm gonna go ahead and run a little bit more. Holler at me, and if you want to say something, we're going to continue on here a bit.
Ingo Wolf estimates that this event could occur in just 10 to 15 years. In America, this moment has been nicknamed the Osmium Big Bang. The consequence would probably be a massive price increase.
Because you have a powerful effect when something runs out entirely. The crystalline osmium created from raw osmium has a secondary market. It actually goes into the vault with the real investors and stays there for 10 to 15 years. That's why they call it next generation metal.
In other words, this means that tangible asset investors acquire the precious metal for the next generation, their children, for example. Piece by piece, osmium is slowly moving over to the jewelry market.
And then it becomes less. This is called a thin out. Then you might have a very strong price effect again when it reaches zero, because there is simply nothing left. But the interesting thing is this. All of the metals go back into the real asset market. But you don't recycle osmium.
For while gold and silver jewelry can be melted down and reintroduced into the tangible asset market quite easily, such a process for osmium would be prohibitively expensive.
That is why osmium will not go back to the tangible asset market from the jewelry market. This means we have a thin out. The curve goes down, down, down. And once it's at zero, then we have the second possible price effect that one could experience. And it will probably be very significant, because osmium is the first precious metal to run out completely.
Another
So yeah, something that's worth pointing out is that it's going to be something that, like he says, isn't something that you melt back down.
Because of the extreme cost in the process to get it to incredible purity. It's a 160 step process, including heating it to over 9,000 Fahrenheit. And there is only one company in the world that can do this. It's just, if you did send it back through the system, you'd be spending the cost. It would only actually increase the the cost of the crystallized osmium. Unlike smelting silver and gold, where the percentage, we're in the low 1-2% in bulk for refining silver and gold, and then having it available to make more bullion or jewelry. This just will not happen with the crystallized osmium.
Right, which even makes it interesting in the jewelry aspect of it. Each piece, not only will each piece have its own code written into it because of the osmium itself, but the jewelry pieces as well, they won't be melted back down. They're probably going to become, pieces of art, like historic art that will just increase in value, a lot of them. And, if it's
I can see, probably everybody's heard of Tiffany. Some of the early Tiffany pieces are incredibly valuable because it's Tiffany. I could see this very rapidly happening when osmium is just rapidly increasing in its price, in its, just for the cut pieces. I think any beautifully made pieces of jewelry will just become way more valuable than the cost of buying the osmium now and having a goldsmith set it to make a custom piece.
Yeah, that's very exciting stuff. So yeah, once the osmium runs out and the jewelry is set, it's not to be remelted back down. You're going to have a one-of-a-kind piece to hand down. Exciting stuff.
A critical aspect to consider with osmium is its scarcity in its raw form, while carbon, required for cost-effective diamond production, is abundantly available. According to the Osmium Institute, it is unlikely that osmium will experience a price decline similar to that seen in the gemstone market. Approximately 1,500 partners worldwide are actively contributing to the globalization of the osmium market. Currently, Scarlett Klaus is playing a pivotal role as a liaison between these institutes, the investment sector, and jewelers, accelerating and simplifying the journey from raw material to the final jewelry piece.
The new markets are coming up right now in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, so the Emirates. South Korea's market is on the rise. In China, we have just opened our first branch, the Osmium Institute in China. When these markets jump in, we are simply talking about a completely different price and market development. And that is, of course, where the real price development will be really exciting.
Simultaneously, construction is underway at the German headquarters for the inaugural European sales and showroom, serving as the flagship store for crystalline osmium and its associated products. Furthermore, a public access glass laboratory is being established. In Murnau, one can anticipate a future with a little more sparkle. And maybe one might soon hear osmium is a girl's best friend.
All right.
So yeah, everybody, please watch this video, subscribe, share, comment. Ingo and Scarlett literally have worked their butts off for 10 years to get this far, and I'm just really excited that I think their payday is coming soon, and they deserve it. So we would just love to get this out there, talk to jewelry people, talk to goldsmiths, talk to fashion people. Any contacts you've got, you'll be doing them a favor. Any company, any brand that gets in with this early on will have an advantage that will leave their competitors standing. It's just an incredible opportunity.
I agree. I stumbled across this, guys, and I think we're early on something that's probably going to do well. I personally don't do the crypto, so I didn't really have a horse that I was excited about liking that type of thing. But this particular product works for me because it's an asset that I hold. It's the most precious metal and rarest precious metal that I hold. And plus it has the built-in security code, 10,000 more points than a fingerprint. What did you say? Something like that?
Every square millimeter. So that's the size of a ballpoint pen tip. And that's just from the high resolution 2D pictures. If you scan it, it's pretty well infinite, the number of codes. As you keep expanding out into its crystalline structure.
It's the densest
You know, like a snowflake never repeats. It's the same principle.
and being the densest material, it can't be replicated. So
you can't substitute it, and even if you tried, I mean, you see that they're only pretty thin sheets they crystallize it in. But even if you tried to cheat on it, it wouldn't have the correct density.
yeah, you just couldn't get there. So yeah, Ian's number, I believe, is in the description of this video. If not, just throw it out there. Ian, what's your number?
Yeah, it's Space Miner is asking, is it cell or landline? It's a cell phone, and it is 307-264-9441.
Sweet. Yeah. Yeah, give Ian a call. An amazing product. So I just bought my first piece. I left it with Ian there. He's got it probably in his hand there. This is the unique part about this particular piece. I bought it for my wife. Is that it's a double-sided piece. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, an amazing product. Once I seen it in person, I was amazed by it, and I couldn't leave without getting me some, and I wasn't planning on it. So
you weren't, no.
But yeah, so I'm really excited about it now. The more I learn about it, the more hyped up I get about it. So you know,
I've just seen Neil's comment there about locking down the mining of it from the platinum miners. So the Osmium team are working around the world securing supplies of the raw osmium. So yeah, they're on the case.
Yeah. Okay. Here it is. Yeah. And like he's saying, yeah, you know, if you guys know jewelers or something to that extent, you know, let them know about this because it's a good time to get in, I think. So it's kind of one of those things. I don't know, when you look at the chart, guys. In fact, let me see if I can bring that chart up. So it's Osmium price. So if you go to Osmium price, it will pop up. And even if you spell it wrong, even if you spell it with the English price, it still pulls it up.
It finds it. Oh, yep. I've just seen a comment there from Stacking Surfer. Yes, they do the whole alphabet in uppercase letters. So you're in luck if you're an Ian, because the eyes are the cheapest, starting from around $60 for an eye.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they have different designs. You can go on to buy Osmium, and that'll pull up a bunch of small pieces, letters, numbers, designs. I'm going here to the Osmium price, and that brings up this page here. And if I go to all and US dollars,
that's a pretty nice chart, isn't it? The all-time.
Yeah, so
I like that chart. And somebody I was talking to about Osmium, they said, look what happened in 2020. And I said, what? And they said, nothing. No smackdown in 2020.
Right, yeah, I see, yeah, right.
No, when silver got cut in half nearly, Osmium just keeps plodding along.
Right, right.
Even if it just continues this, when you compound that, buy a piece now, get your goldsmith to make a piece, or we could use our goldsmith for you. In a relatively few years, your piece will be appreciating. Whereas if you buy diamond jewelry, I've heard of people reselling it 40 years later and they only get the same dollars back, no appreciation.
Right. Yep. No, I think this is going to be exciting. This is going to be a piece that, yeah, like you say, appreciates, and you're going to hand back down to your kids, and on it will go. I think yeah, I'm excited about it. I think yeah, I mean, if it's not going to be melted back down like other metals, you know, that's one and done thing.
I think I saw a request to show the letters. So if you excuse me for 30 seconds, I'll grab the letters.
Okay. Yep. I'll pull up the website too while you're out doing that. Let me Share my screen. I got to get two. I got to get another screen. I need two screens for this sharing stuff. Is jumping back and forth, getting lost.
Here's a letter Y.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome.
So we are building up as fast as we can so we can have the whole alphabet. So, I mean, this H just shows you the potential for the shapes. You see how incredibly crisp the edges are on that. So these pieces are cut with what's called electrical discharge machine. So they put incredibly high voltage through a wire that's finer than a human hair, and it cuts the material without even touching the sides. So you get incredibly clean cut. Oh, question here, price per gram. I think we're around 14.50, aren't we? Long lived.
Yeah, I just shut that out. I'll go back there and we'll check it. I just shut it off, but we'll check right quick here. Let me.
I tend to just not look. I know I keep buying pieces, and it's every time I look in a month or two, it's worth more. So, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it handles where we're at right now. I know it's dropping a little bit with everything dropping. We'll see if it recovers or what at this point that we're at right now. So we're at about 14.30 a gram. Homestead.
So that's 14.30 times 30. So that's about $44,000 a troy ounce. So just over 20 times more expensive than gold, even though it's 1,500 times rarer than gold.
And they would only be about a cubic meter if they mine everything that they can get to, which is questionable in itself for sure.
Well, yeah, it's going to thin out for sure. I mean, we're going to get new discoveries and we're going to get new platinum mines opened up. But the Institute will only use osmium where they know that it's been sourced safely. So not even all the raw osmium metal that is physically available will get converted to the crystalline osmium because they will not use random osmium. I get approached most weeks with someone trying to sell me osmium or osmium concentrate or an osmium mixed in with other metals. Hi, yeah, Stacking Surfer. Yeah, and Stacking Surfer, he only saw it inside, so we only had artificial light. Long lived, you've had the privilege of seeing it in sunlight, haven't you? It was a sunny day when you came up to visit.
It's amazing in natural light too. What sold me on it was actually in regular light, in artificial light. In his shop from across the room, he said he held up just this tiny little piece and said, if your girlfriend had an earring. Yeah. And I couldn't believe how that caught my eye from across the room with just regular light from his ceiling light.
Yeah, just a small. These are this is a standard piece they do as a droplet shape.
Yep, he held something like that up, and I couldn't believe it. And then the next day, I got to see it in sunlight, and that's crazy. So yeah, it's amazing stuff when you see it in person. You wouldn't think. In fact, well, it's different in diamond. A diamond refracts the light, right? Whereas this actually reflects it.
I mean, nothing is perfect, but it's as perfect a mirror as you're going to get. From what I understand, there isn't anything more reflective.
Yeah, I mean, when that stuff's in the sun, it kind of tricks your eyes a little bit. It's just crazy. It's bright, reflective. So, yeah, indeed. Okay, what else we got here? All right, Ian. I think.
Oh yeah, Homestead. Yeah, so yeah, Homestead. It's around 14.50 a gram. Yeah.
Yeah. This device has the clarity of pond water. All right. Yeah. Thanks for coming in, guys. I just wanted to
Yeah.
kind
Thank
of
you, everybody.
highlight some of this stuff. Yeah, if anybody's interested in buying some, get a hold of Ian, 307-264-9441. And yeah, stay tuned. We'll be having more info on this in the future. I just thought that it was such a good video that I wanted to try to get that out to people. So hopefully others, yeah, guys, go to the Osmium Institute on YouTube and follow them. Tell them the B at LLC sent you over there, and cheer them on over there. Let them know you like their products. So, all right, guys, you got anything else you want to add in, Ian, before we go?
No, thank you very much for suggesting this. Yeah, it's how you make the contacts. It's literally everybody's just one or two contacts away from helping this get mainstream. And just if you can afford $20, you can get a little piece. $30-$40 a bit bigger. $60 you can get an eye. And these letters get your initial. These, in my opinion, are an incredible store of value and fun and beautiful at the same time.
For sure. Yeah. Indeed. All right. Well, I could go on and on, so I better just end it here. All right. Thanks, Ian. And guys, we will catch you on the next one. What is the next one going to be? I probably got a spin and bin this Saturday, and then auction next Wednesday. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.